and just do your breathing and just look at the moon, you'll see your whole consciousness, your whole vision start to just fibrate. Oh no, no. But tell blue crystal is the best place I know to go. You know, little 5 points, blue crystal. Yeah, blue crystal. They slamming, man. They got some good. And you're welcome. But I do sell magnets now, magnetic products. Yeah, yeah. We sell magnetic products also. All right, and there, yeah, and there's a. If you look at that, see this book right here, you can just, it's a like catalog, as well as some other information. All right now. So yeah, so you can actually begin to see your own consciousness expand by what you begin to see. Okay, so oh, that's what I'm looking for right here. Okay, now one thing we didn't get, I didn't get a chance to finish the finger mudras last week. Okay, in terms of the finger mudras, there's 6 mudras. Okay, now if you read, you saw how the Orientals refer to the 8 circuits. Okay, the 8 electrical circuits. No, they don't really say that in the brain. They say the 8 electrical circuits, and then we look at the correlation of the because see, we understand the finger mudras, the first 4 mudras are cleaning 2 circuits, 2 circuits, 2 circuits, 2 circuits. Okay, so what we're going to do is when we do some meditation, we're going to show you actually how to cleanse these circuits using breathing techniques. Okay, and when you I mean, your whole inside of just start. Okay, so the 8. So what I have done is taking the Oriental information on these 8 electrical circuits, and Dr. Timothy O'Leary's work on the 8 neural circuits, and based on my own deduction, okay, in understanding how the neural circuits work and the electrical circuits, making an assumption that they're one and the same. They have to be. Okay, so in actuality, when you start cleansing these 8 circuits, you will also begin to activate dormant neural network in your brain. Because it's the pathway of those 8 electrical circuits are also connected in your brain. So in essence, what we're doing is getting those full flow through those whole circuits by doing the breathing and getting oxygen in there, increasing the vibration of the circuitry, which in actuality makes your head start to buzz. Okay, so so that's real key. Now this week we're going to talk about the quartz crystals. Let's go and talk about the crystals. Now we have to understand that at least for we know that the Earth grows crystals, and it's a process of as the Earth grows these crystals. Generally, crystals start out opaque and kind of dense and cloudy at the bottom, and clear at the top. Now we can also tell that when they sell crystals, the grade of the crystal is based upon the clarity, because all that cloudiness that's in there is actuality moisture which it got trapped while the crystal was growing. But you can actually, by the more you work with the crystal, you can actuality work that out. So the more you work with the crystal, the clearer and clearer it gets. In essence, you increase this crystal's vibration, and like as we read, you understand that this process that the crystal goes through of existing and trying to achieve clarity is very similar to the process that our soul goes through. Our soul goes through a process of trying to obtain perfection of the soul. And if we have to go through lifetimes to achieve this perfection of the soul, then that's what we do. But once we obtain when we say perfection of the soul, we're in essence talking about coming to Christ consciousness. Okay? But when that happens, you don't reincarnate no more. Because you understand that there's a whole other subject, but the laws of reincarnation and karma are not real. Those are something that just in this realm, that exists only in this realm, that somebody out there fabricated. Okay? So that's not real. It only becomes real once you believe and accept it as real. So the perfection of your soul and the clarity of the crystal are mirror images of each other. In actuality, and you can also learn that by actually using these crystals to perfect your soul, you enhance yourself as well as the crystal's quality. Okay? So it's a symbiotic relationship. Okay, so now these clear quartz crystals are grown. This material. This is silica, which is sand. Okay, but there are different types of quartz crystal, and as we go to, what chart is this? What page is this? The materials vary for the different. And when we talk about, when we say crystals, we also in reference to gemstones, because there are many different types of gemstones that are out there. And we can also know that, I don't know if you, and when we talk about this process of this crystal achieving clarity, we also have know in cases where certain gemstones that have healing properties, like an amethyst, can go clear and lose its purple, because purple is a healing quality, healing color, lose its purple from a particular sickness or whatever. So there are many people that me personally, I have never seen this, but I've talked to people who have had this happen to their particular gemstones based upon different sicknesses and ailments. Okay? So now, when we talk about gemstones, that we know that gemstones are different colors. And like when I first started opening myself up, what I went out and did, and I started buying me, I got a whole bunch of gemstones. And I had to take the gemstones and based upon their color, put them on top of my particular chakras. And just lie down there meditating with those gemstones and visualizing, using visualization, seeing. Okay, now this is real key when we talk about opening up your chakras or meditating on your chakras. Visualization is very key, because in essence, when you get out of this third dimensional realm, the only thing you're going to have to work for you is your imagination. So your imagination is very key. If you can visualize it, then it's real. In essence, when I start using the meditating on opening up my chakras, before I actually started using the gemstones and the crystals, what I used to do was try to meditate 5 minutes on this chakra, so I could get a little physical sensation, then go to the next chakra, get a little physical sensation, then once I go to this chakra, 5 minutes on this chakra, then go back where I can see these two chakras, and then get a physical sensation, then go to the next chakra, and use that whole process, work with each chakra 5 minutes when I could get. Well, now this is before I started using anything, and started that process till I could see all 7. And that's not easy when you're first starting out to see all 7 of your chakras. Or see, when I say see them, I'm talking about each color at its perspective point. You might want to use it, like I might, some people might be, for me it was easier just imagine a spine, because I know they connected to your spine, and just boom, the colors on the spine at the perspective location. And the more and more it was easy, when I say when it got easier and easier for me to see all 7 colors in that spine, then I it was like I could really woo, 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 and just doing the same process. And then as I grew, when I first started out doing the same process, it would take me only maybe a minute on each chakra, then go back down. On each chakra, go back down. Each chakra, go back down. Well, you can see it. All right. And so then, when I started using the gemstones and the crystals, putting those on top of my chakras, it just woo! It opened them up to a whole nother level. Got me to the point where I can start that sensation that you would get and feeling those chakras, where I can feel it all the time, even with my eyes open, walking around. Okay. So in essence, the colors are very key. The colors are very key because you have to understand that colors, in essence, like you have to let's lay down the law of the colors. When you first come from heaven, so to speak, you come as a blue, like a blue light, coming through the spiritual plane. And then as you get into the next plane, which is the astral plane, you go to, is it yellow? And by the time you hit the physical plane, you're red. So the colors, so in essence, blue is a spiritual color, red is physical. And we know these are the primary colors. And you get all the rest of the colors from these colors, right? So if you look on page, like if you mix blue with yellow, you get green. Orange from here, and then red and blue take you to purple. If I'm not, or is it, no, violet, not purple, violet. Yeah. I guess some of that stuff just comes easy to some people. Okay, so the colors, go to page 44. Okay? So you can see that your blue is spiritual and red is physical. Now check. So by that token, when you have a magnet, blue will be what side? Let me ask you, what you think blue would be in terms of negative or positive? Blue is cool. Negative. Red is hot. Positive. Okay? Blue is spiritual. Negative. Red is physical. Positive. Okay? So, so you can just so if you get a magnet like this, you can just understand. Well, it's color coded. Now you know what the colors mean. Okay. So this is real key in understanding how the colors, because at the same time you have to understand the colors of vibration, and you can, check every organ in your body. Okay. Now your overall body frequency, what we call the summation frequency of your body, is 7.8 hertz. Check? Check. So, but this is just an overall frequency, a composite frequency that's composed of many sub-frequencies. So every organ in your body, every gland in your body has its own frequency. And then when you take all the brain waves and take the overall average of all those different frequencies, is 7.8 hertz. So the ancients, like we talking about in Atlantis, they knew the frequency of every organ in your body. And they had a daggone computer hooked up to a crystal that'd be like, the computer can analyze all the organs. So say if your heart, you having heart problems, and your heart has a frequency of, say 17 hertz. I'm just using I don't know what it is. I'm just using an imaginary, hypothetical number. 17 hertz. And the computer analyze you and say, well, damn, your heart is at, say, 15.93 hertz, right? So what the computer would do would say, well, dang, you got this much frequency that's needed. You take the crystal, grab that amount of energy that it needed, based upon, and then knowing, also take information from its database on the color of that is needed to also obtain this frequency, and to get it to where it's harmonized right to that frequency, and then it hit that organ and be like, zoop, just a little subtle, not no, you know how they do with you in the medical thing, zoop, 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 putting all the energy in you, too much, subtle, and then boom, put it right back in balance, and you can be healed instantaneously. All right. They also check in Atlantis. They also used, they had these temples, to which they were like pyramid-like temples. They had like would let light in at the top, and then you would have what's called like a healing table that a patient would lay on, and the healing table would be made out of the same gemstone materials. All right. So you have a purple table, yellow table, this table made out of gemstones, and what will be above the particular table is they would use shades of like different plastic, say like a plastic or something that a different thing that, say like if you need some healing for your heart once again, that it would take that, put you on a particular table that needs where the color is matched to the frequency that you need, and then when light comes in, it's separated. You know how you get the 7 rays of light? It's 7 colors and that's coming in the light, the 7 rays. It just grabs the particular color that you need, and then boom. All right? So you line on a table that is vibrating. And then have that color applied so you could be healed instantaneously just like that. Okay? So what we're talking about, and so using these instruments of light, you can see in Atlantis, they had, we have to understand too that in Atlantis they were vibrating at a high frequency. We're vibrating at 7.8 hertz. In Atlantis, at night, they're etheric. The body above, the physical body, would come to be active. So so in essence, the etheric body vibrates from 15 to 20 hertz. Right. The etheric body vibrates between 15 to 20 hertz. So check. You have to understand that also that back in that time, is more oxygen on the planet. The more oxygen a cell gets, the faster it vibrates. The more oxygen we assimilate, the more carbon dioxide we put off, boom, the bigger the plants get, the bigger animals get, everything's bigger because it's vibrating at a faster rate. So it's more oxygen, so you have to understand, so you can see why they would be vibrating at a faster rate. Now, what took place though is that when they see the skeletal remains of our ancestors from the Atlantean period and all these things, they look at it and they say, oh, that's a Australopithecus Homo erectus this, ape man. It is because that from the last 160 million years, because we can go back even further than that. But when we got trapped down here, our vibration began to slow down. And by the time we got to the Atlantean period, the most beautiful aspect of us was still in the high frequency, still in the spiritual body. And the more dense part of us carried the animal nature. So that's why it looked more animal, even though it was a much more highly intelligent being. What we are is we're talking about that was the third root race of man. When the flood of Noah killed off, and that deluge killed off the Atlanteans, we now are the new 5th root race of man, the 4th root race of man, getting ready to become the new 5th root race of man. So check. We have to understand that when we slow down to this point, in essence, we got totally separated from the spiritual aspect of ourselves, so to speak. And so all that beauty fell down into the physical body now, the more densified body. So what we get ready, when we talk about the new fifth root race of man, we're talking about this whole beautiful aspect going from the bottom all the way back up to the top. Okay? So in essence, when you study the secret doctrines and you see how they got human remains, we know one time they were saying 9 to 12 million years old. Now they're saying they found some in the crustaceous layer, which is 165 million years. Human, not no ape man, Australopithecus or Homo erectus, human. So our legacy is much older than they would have us to believe. Okay, so now also we understand. So now if we look at page 47, we see, right, we give you for different conditions. The vibration, the color that's used to match to that particular sickness or ailment. We're going back to the, this example we're using up here. Information is right here. Okay. Now we are also remember we talked about the healing triad. We said it was color, sound, and magnetics. Let me step it up. Put it over here. The healing triad. So we go to the sound now. Now, sound is a very powerful, not only healing tool, but from what I understand, sound is also used when they do levitation. All right? Color, sound, and magnetics. Put magnetics up top. Color, sound. Okay. Now, sound is very key because when you talk about another way to open up your chakras is chanting. You could chant and bring the walls down, straight up. Okay. So what page? So if you look at the back of the tables that we gave you. For the chakras, let's see what page we need to look at. Page 35. Go back to page 35. You'll see where we've given you the sound aspect in terms of the vowel for each chakra. Each chakra has a vowel sound. Each chakra has a tone sound. Each chakra has a form of music, all right, that activates it. Okay, and then we give you page 36. The mantra or chant that you could that is used that vibrates at that particular chakra frequency. So I don't know if you're familiar with Brother Ramesses Bey. He specializes in that. He does serious deep chanting to activate the whole, like one chant that I had used when I was opening my stuff up was Om Ram Tam. And see what that does is Om, and I can physically feel Ram Tam, Om Ram Tam. Now, see, that was a mantra that this sister, psychic sister, and she came through. She said, "Yo, you need to use this." I said, "Oh," and I felt it. Boom. So that's even though it's different mantras. This right here is just the base. This right here is based upon the Vedic. So sound. So if you, and that's something that you can do. You could be doing that while you watching TV. You know what I'm saying? Or you could be in the shower doing that. See, we talking about teaching you things you could be doing, You could be at work, just all you got to do is hum. And as you just hum and at a low breath, depending upon what breath, what part of the breath you're at will activate different levels. You understand what I'm saying? But when you get it hum, when you hum it a long time, boom, you down in there then, you got to push it out. All right? So that's real powerful, and it's real key in focusing energies in this area, because a lot of us have got a lot of sicknesses now due to underactive areas of the heart, with underactive hearts. In essence, we have not focused the energy down there. The energy is just running wild and loose in that body, and it's causing more harm than good. So it's just real key, to be charging it, doing mantras. It's real key to be working on this horror area. Okay, so now also when we talk about the instruments of light, well, first of all, let's go into the one aspect of the crystals, and that's in terms of using the crystals with healing and also opening yourselves up. One thing I have learned is using crystals in patterns, taking amounts, large amounts of small crystals. When I say crystals, I'm talking about clear quartz crystals, amethyst quartz, all sorts of quartz crystals. But the only difference between the clear quartz and all the other quartz is you can program these. Okay, see, like check when they do the teaching, how they used to teach children in Atlantis, because Atlantis was a high-tech crystal technology, where they even used the crystals to. You see how we got telephone wires? Not telephone, but all these wires transmitting power from here to there. They had crystals that was like maybe 10 to 20 feet in diameter, 10 to 15 feet high. They might take 10 of those, 20 of those, and space them where they all, and they would have them connected, like take copper wire and like make a grid. And so every appliance in your house, all your so-called transportation, working on crystal technology. It ain't no much different than what we're doing now. They got crystals all in the daggum electronics, the piezoelectric crystals. You know that, right? Oh yeah, they even trying to grow flawless crystals in space. Some of the stuff they be doing up there when it's going in the space shuttle. It's because they understand. See, they getting to the point where they getting ready to do the white man's getting ready to do the same thing that we did in Atlantis. Is now initially we had took these crystals and we used it for positive. Then we start taking this energy and making synthetic crystals, massive synthetic crystals, for weapons of war. All right. So they doing it's the same thing happening all over again. So now in Atlantis in essence you could take this crystal right here, and I might sit for 7 days, 30, 40 minutes a day, sitting there and just concentrating. Like say I want to teach my daughter geometry. I'll go, since I already got it up here, just go through the sine, cosine, and all that, and just do that for 30 minutes a day. Just consciously thinking of that. Bam, 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 bam. In 7 days, this crystal has that vibration in it. So now all she got to do is take that crystal, meditate with it for about a month, 7 days, or 7 days to a month, depending upon the child, and the information, which is energy, she's osmosed that frequency. So she knows the information, even though she don't know she know it. The only way that information will come out is if she is put in a situation where it got to come out. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't know about, well, most of us will find that we perform best under pressure. We got to get something done. Or I got to get that rent. You see, you perform godlike feats then. All right? So you can program these crystals, to draw this to you or draw that to you. All right? Now also, with the understanding these clear quartz crystals are also, when we talk about positives and negatives, some are transmitters and some are receivers. All right? The way you find out is if see, if I put this crystal in my hand and I close my eyes and I try to feel, is this crystal, is it getting warm or is it getting cold? It's getting warm. So the fact that it's getting warm tells me that it's feeding energy to my hand. So it's a transmitter. Versus if it makes my hand get cold, it's drawing energy from my hand. It's a receiver. All right? Now next we want to go into what we call, in terms of using the crystals for healing, interlay and overlay patterns. Interlay and overlay patterns. And then short circuiting. And then short circuiting. Now, see, I guess by sorts, because I've spent, like I'm saying, you know, when I was on the plantation, you got to understand that I was making $60,000 a year. Once I became conscious, all that money that I was spending on, because I was in the real estate, I had a couple of piece of properties, but by the time I became conscious, I was like, I got to get the hell away from all this. I ain't paying no more bills, paying no more mortgages. And so I started taking the few thousand I was making a month and buying crystals and magnets and spending much money. I spent thousands of dollars on crystals. So I got a lot of crystals. So what I started doing was, you got, in terms of overlay pattern, I have enough crystals where I can make a pattern around the body, which is an overlay pattern. That's the pattern that you put around the body. Now you could it's different types of overlay pattern. You can be creative and come up with what you want. You can use, in your overlay pattern, you can use gemstones in your overlay pattern. You can even throw in some magnets in your overlay pattern. All right? But in this overlay pattern that goes around the body, and you can put it in, it's like the Star of David, or six-pointed star, 5-pointed star, 11-pointed star. Any configuration that you actually line the crystals into, you create an energy field in that particular pattern. Okay? So overlay, and now, you know, so I don't know if you've seen the big crystals I have. You've seen, I'm going to bring that the end of this class, because in level 2, that's when we start using all the crystals. Every workshop we'll use the crystals to, and I'm telling you, I got some nice pieces. But what I used to do was take all them crystals and lay them around me in a large, in a small field right next to my body, but it'd be a large amount of energy. Large amount of energy. Most people would not, like my big crystal, when I do a chakra alignment, that's too much energy to, I wouldn't put that crystal on nobody. That's too much energy. I can handle the energy though. Had that thing pointed directly at my head. We're talking about a 55, 60 pound crystal. All right? So you understand what the overlay patterns. Now, the interlay patterns are the patterns that how we put the crystals on top of the body. So like when I do my chakra alignments, when I do a regular chakra alignment, I don't usually use the interlay patterns. But when you're talking about dealing with the sicknesses, people who are sick in different organs, then that's when the interlay patterns become very effective. They're not really that necessary. Like when I was opening myself up though, I had to put a full tilt overlay patterns, much stuff many crystals I can put in there, and then line up interlay patterns, say with one of these on every chakra, all of them point up. And then all the outside crystals pointing up, taking energy that way. When you flow the energy that way, that's you. Okay, like when I do the chakra alignments, sometimes I put, once you lie the body down, if the crystals apexes are pointing up, then that's a spiritual healing. Versus if all the points are pointing down, it's physical. Okay, so either going up or down. Now, in your interlay patterns, you can do what's called short circuiting. Short circuit is when you point the crystals like that, with the apexes point each other like this. So if we where's that